and you wrestled a lot of international guys. Now, I'm going to go on about your first big marquee match now before we go on to when you got the belt. And that was, tell me about the experience, because it was a DVD taping. And we used to sell a lot of DVDs, so this was down in Waterford. And it was you in a three-way match versus Takeshi Rikio, who had just lost the Pro Wrestling Noah GHC Heavyweight Championship. Yep. And you had Kid Kash, who wasn't long off TV with the WWE. So how was that experience for you, being your first big marquee match, and it's a DVD taping, and we're in one of our A-level venues that we ran several times a year?
Yeah, that was a really cool, unbelievable time. I felt under a lot of pressure, but it was one of those situations where I took every minute of time and was like, right, just breathe. It's okay. You can do this. So I met Takeshi Rikio, and he kind of put me at ease a little bit, and he was a really cool guy.
Very humble guy.
Oh my word, like so nice, and like he didn't speak very good English, definitely not, but he could communicate fine, and he just seemed like such a pleasant guy. And I remember there was an issue, I believe, with Kid Kash and the airport, like getting to the venue, so he got there very late. So Rikio, he planned a lot of the match and kind of left some spots in there for Kid Kash, and Kid Kash came in and we spoke, and he was, for a guy who was under a lot of pressure, who was, obviously late through no fault of his own, he was under a lot of pressure, but he came in, he was very professional. He's like, okay, we'll do this, who's going over, and the rest of the framework that Rikio had there, we went into the ring and had the match, and it was really cool. Rikio's obviously a big giant guy. He was like cool to work with though, and unbelievably agile, and everything was really nice to work with. And Kash, really physical guy. Like, he's obviously a legit tough guy. He does a lot of MMA, and when you're working with him, you feel a little bit like you're fighting for your life, but in a cool way. Like, he's a cool guy. Yeah. So, but I remember that match taking a move and getting boom right on top of my head, and I remember everything going like bleh, like I think I was definitely unconscious for a split second, and then when it came around, I was like, can I feel my legs, can I feel my hands, and I wasn't sure, so I just powdered.
So what were you spiked, or was that just what the intention of the move was, and was that Kash or was that Rikio?
I was taking like I described it like it was like almost like a brain buster, like a compacted brain buster from Kid Kash, and like just whatever way it landed, it was like I was just right bang on the top of my head. You can watch the match back, I think. Is it up online? I think it's online.
I will show some clips of the match during
so
this.
It's a really insane bump. So like how it is not on Botchamania, I do not know. It's like it looked like I died. I think because of my martial arts training, I'm really flexible, like really bendy, and I think that's kind of what saved me, was my flexibility. Because if you watch it, it's literally like I get spiked on the top of my head, and straight away I go whoop, out of the ring. And at least I had the whereabouts to know, like, I need to get out of here. But I was lucky enough, it was okay. I got back in the ring, and we finished everything as planned. But I had to be like, what are we doing? And I remember just like, I remember specifically being outside the ring and coming through and going like, feet. There's lots of feet around me. Feet, lights, wrestling. And then it all came back.
But in that particular match, you took a serious beating in that match. And some guys will complain of, oh, this or that, like, you know. But Kid Kash was trying to impress the Japanese import. And I think he thought by going harder on the Japanese import. Now, he has a really tough physical style.
Yeah,
which is believable.
And it's cool. I like it.
But I found looking at it, he went that bit harder on you, and he went that bit harder on you. But I can remember seeing Rikio sometimes in the match kind of like, looking back at Cash giving you a beating and thinking like, is he going to do that to me? Well, I assume that's what he's thinking, going to do that to me. But it was a very enjoyable, very tough match actually. And I just remember, even though you took the pin of the match, you were the one who ultimately lost the match.
I took the another head spike at the end, yeah.
But the fans' reaction to you before the match and after the match, and that's exactly what I was looking for. And they gave you these good matches in all the key venues that we returned to a lot that had the big house. Now, when I say big house, we're not talking thousands of people. Like Waterford, when it was sold out, which was most times, it was roughly 310 people. But it's the same loyal fan base that you have. And the people who couldn't come in, you'd sell them a programme, people would talk about you, and that's how you got to see it. This before your digital age, which it is now. And from there, that's where I felt comfortable. On that tour, Kash came in for a few tours, Tracy Smothers, I felt comfortable putting you in the ring with all these guys.
Yeah.
Your Kid Kash, your Tracy Smothers, and just before you won the belt.
One of the things that I think about that match, and that was like my first, I remember sitting at a table one day and I got a message through saying, you're working Kid Kash and Takeshi Rikio at this plan. And I was like, I started sweating straight away. I was like, oh my word, the pressure. But I think it was a great opportunity. And like you said, I think the fans did buy into me being in there with these two guys who they recognised and knew. But I think that was because of the way I looked, and it showed you how important a look is and a character is, that I didn't seem out of place. And I was lucky I was in there with two really seasoned veterans that were able to carry me through like a half decent match, because I was very green at the time.
Hence, that's why you put it into the three-way, so...
Yeah, it wasn't as obvious. With those two guys in there, they could carry me through it. But the fans were fine with it. They were fine with everything.